May basic goodness dawn. May the confidence of goodness be eternal. May goodness be all victorious. May that goodness bring profound, brilliant glory. I talked about the Theravada or Tekchung tradition, about the Mahayana tradition or Tekchen, and about the Vajrayana tradition or Dorje Tekpa. I shared some highlights as far as I know them. This time I want to say a few words about Shambhala. Behind me you see a painting of a royal figure which refers to the Shambhala lineage. And the first story that we know referring to the Shambhala tradition is that a king of a certain kingdom, the kingdom of Shambhala, went to the Buddha and said, "You have beautiful teachings for monks and nuns, people who want to renounce from the world and practice meditation in the forests and dedicate their life to spirituality." And he said, "That's beautiful, but I don't think it is the right thing for me to do, to renounce my kingdom. That's not the most compassionate and helpful thing to do. So do you have also instructions for me as a kingdom, as somebody fully involved in daily life?" And then apparently the Buddha agreed with him and gave him instructions for him how to have a dignified life, which is at once spiritual and fully mundane, fully engaged in daily life. So that's the basic tradition of Shambhala and the basic inspiration, that we do not have to withdraw from our marriages, families, country, our engagement with society. And then, of course, the tradition that Tenjo and myself are members of is called Shambhala, so the reference is made big. The Shambhala tradition, this reference to Shambhala, has lived throughout Tibetan history. For example, the symbols of tiger, lion, Garuda and dragon, which you see in many Tibetan prayer flags, as well as the symbol of the wind horse Lungta, they are all closely linked to the Shambhala tradition. So this tradition has lived alongside, especially referenced by Nyingma and Kagyu masters. It has lived and it has been continuing as a lineage within Buddhism in Tibet and Bhutan and areas like that. And at the same time, it is renewed and invigorated. A term like basic goodness was not used, didn't exist as much before. So there are also new texts. You may have heard the term terma, which means a treasure teaching which is discovered. So Trungpa Rinpoche, already when he was still in Tibet, not knowing that he would go to the West, but already then he had an affinity with the Shambhala tradition, as did the previous Mipam Rinpoche. They wrote new texts, or they discovered new texts. They wrote terma texts that came to them, so that was not their intentional invention, but they got the inspiration, or they found it physically somewhere. They found teachings where the terma teachings, the idea is that they relate to the people living at that particular time when they are found. They might have been hidden by Guru Rinpoche or somebody else who feels, I have a teaching which is relevant for people in the future. And then the treasure discoverer finds the terma at the appropriate time, and he can share it then. And so in this time, the teachings of Shambhala, how to be a dignified human being, fully engaged in daily life, as well as seriously engaged on a path towards awakening and enlightenment. That combination is found to be relevant and applicable to our time. And we have new terms, such as basic goodness, as a central inspiration that we can take pride and confidence in who we are, and have the confidence and explore whether it's true that we are really good. That's one of the, you can say, basic meditations that we can, we are given this hint that human nature in its true essence is really good. It doesn't say that everything we do is fantastic. We might hurt others, but the suggestion in the term basic goodness is that our true nature is brilliant and good, and that everything that's not so beautiful that we might also do and engage in is purely a covering up of, or a misunderstanding of our true nature. So in that sense, it's a positive outlook on life. It's not afraid to be engaged in daily life. It doesn't withdraw from it, and it trusts that our real natures, if they come out, they are beautiful. And they come out, on the one hand, through long, arduous practice to purify our mind. At the same time, they come out all the time. When you see a child sleeping, maybe we sense its basic goodness directly, if we are not diluted by whatever could occupy our minds. If our minds are open, we touch our own basic goodness and we recognize the basic goodness of other human beings and of society. Maybe I'll leave it at that. So the Shambhala tradition, we are lucky that we refer to it a lot. We feel we inherit as a birthright any human being, but we take pride in it, we take delight in it, we have teachings that inspire us this way. And it combines with Buddhism. It isn't either Buddhist or non-Buddhist. It's definitely compatible with Buddhism. It has lived together and survived in an infused way. But it can also be seen in its own right as its own independent path. It would be somewhat remarkable, but there could be a person who says, I want to have very little to do or nothing to do with Buddhism, in the sense of I don't want to adapt any belief system. Even within Buddhism, actually, that's the mindset. But nevertheless, somehow I could imagine somebody who's not drawn to Buddhism, but who feels, hey, meditation makes sense, which is central to both Buddhism and Shambhala. And these teachings ring true to me. They are very direct and fresh, rediscovered, much of it recently. And it connects to my daily life. And that's the inspiration of Shambhala, and that's the offer of Shambhala. That's all I wanted to share.